Okay, so Beardley versus Falco will be coming at the weekend as per schedule. I'm just making this video now because I have time and because this is only the real good time to post it, like on my schedule at least. So yeah, Beardley versus Falco will be coming this weekend, and if it is on schedule. Hey guys, Nuzzle here, today back from a YouTube video. Today's going to be a slightly different video. We're going to be listing off different matchup ideas for all the Hellsing characters, or at least all the notable Hellsing characters. Essentially so that I never run out of ideas, and if someone else is running their own versus show, they can, use some of these if they so want. If you enjoy this video, dislike and subscribe. I've got a couple rules in place. For example, I'm not having any matchups that I've already done before. Obviously, no same character twice. If I do have another better matchup I can't use for some reason, then I'll bring it up when, that character comes around. And secondly, stomps will be allowed. However, if the stomp is absolutely massive, I'll kind of be deterred from using it. It's not one for all versus Magikarp level stomps, if you get what I mean. These are at least somewhat close to have a fight. And yeah, let's just get right into this video. Number 1, Alucard versus Hellboy from Hellboy. Two red monsters that go around killing their own kind, and are the strongest of their own kind. They mostly use firearms too. Both have Nazis as their main enemies, or at least at some point in their own story. Both are cocky and arrogant to the point of letting their enemies hit them, and have godlike forms, level 0 for Alucard and Devil Here for Hellboy. It's a pretty good matchup, to be fair. It is way more thematic than Dio versus Alucard. Number 2, Integra Hellsing versus Olivier Mira from Fullmetal Alchemist. Two fearless commandos of large organizations using traditional weaponry to fight, and obviously don't fight often. Number 3, Alexander Anderson versus Kokushibo from Demon Slayer. Two very powerful swordsmen who were highly respected in their several ranks. They both hunted monsters, however eventually turned into the very things they were trying to kill. Number 4, The Captain versus Bane from DC Comics. Two super soldier villains who are great tactical geniuses and are great enemies to the main characters and have worked for a great organization. Yeah, I've already used The Captain against Red Skull, so, this was probably the second best option. Number 5, Ceres Victoria versus Nezuko Kamado from Demon Slayer. Two highly supporting main female characters who are turned into monsters against their will, or at least against what they would have wished, and are struggling to preserve their humanity in a world filled with monsters. Number 6, Walter C. Dornez versus Sebastian Michaelis. I cannot say that last name. From Black Butler. Two badass butlers who are both charming yet deadly. Yeah, this is probably Walter C. Dornez's best matchup when it comes to the Butler connection. In terms of obviously the wires, I've already covered Walter C. Dornez versus Best Jeanist, so. Number 7. Okay, I'm just going to warn you, from this point out, we're covering much more minor characters that it became almost impossible to think of some for. I had to end up resulting to using Google for a couple of them. But, forgive me for not having, the best matchups for, people like Luke Valentine, as we have Luke Valentine versus Stain from My Hero Academia. Two minor and very murder-happy villains that obviously see others below them and think they could kill anyone. I'm sorry, I really could not think of one. There is obviously Luke Valentine versus Funny Valentine from JoJo, but that was just way too much of a stomp for me to consciously put that in there as a believable close fight. Number 8, Jan Valentine versus Swamp Demon from Demon Slayer. Two very minor villains that show up at the start of the story and are generally much weaker than the rest of the characters in the series, and yet despite that they both think they're hot shit. Both are monsters too that obviously have distinct weaknesses and have a bunch of people chasing after them. Number 9, Rip Van Winkle versus Hull Horse from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Both of them are villains who are very powerful henchmen of very, very powerful villains, and both of them primarily use a gun and can redirect bullets after firing them, so essentially they have the same power. I mean, Hull Horse is much faster, but, Rip Van Winkle probably has the edge. I don't really know. Maybe Hull Horse has it. Number 10, Tubla-Cain versus the Riddler from DC Comics. I'm sorry, I really did not have one for this matchup. I just saw Tubla-Cain and thought, yes, the Riddler. Number 11, Zorzan Blitz versus Neopolitician from RWBY. Both major female antagonists who are aligned with other antagonists. When I said that I was struggling for some of these characters. I meant it. I really did not have much for Zorz and Blitz. And finally, number 12, Mayor versus Lelouch Britannia from Code Greece. Grace, whatever. Both great leaders of a great empire, yet aren't nearly as strong as their troops. And that does it for a matchup for every single Hellsing character that I have not done yet. Some of these I was reaching, if you couldn't tell, but, you know, Hellsing is a short series, so there's not going to be that many, you know, characters to begin with, which also explains why this video is kind of short. If I obviously do this again with another series, it's obviously going to be much longer, so if you enjoyed this video, dislike and subscribe, put in the comments if you want to see more of this type of video, and yeah, I will see you at the weekend for Birdley versus Falco.